The most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear. Thus, in her excellent white bosom, these, etc. Came this from Hamlet to her? Good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love, O dear Ophelia. I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I have loved thee best, O most best, believe it, I do. Thine evermore most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings as they fell out our time, by means and place, all given to mine ear. But how hath she received his love? What do you think of me? As of a man faithful and honorable. I would fain prove so, but what might you think, when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it, I must tell you that, before my daughter told me, what might you, or my dear majesty, your queen here, think, if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute or dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight, what might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star, this must not be. And then I prescripts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he repelled a short tale to make, fell into sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declination into a madness wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for. Do you think this? It may be, very like. Hath there been such a time? I would, faith, know that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise? Not that I know. Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center. How then we try it further? You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby. So he does indeed. At such times I'll loose my daughter to him. But be you and I behind an arras there. Mark you the encounter. If he love her not, and he not from the reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm and carters. We will try it. But look where sadly the wretch comes reading. Away, I do beseech you both, away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet? Well, God a mercy. Do you know me, my lord? Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger. Not I, my lord. Then I would you were so honest a man. Honest, my lord? Aye, sir, to be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000. That's very true, my lord, for if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion, have you a daughter? I have, my lord. Let her not walk the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it. How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. I said I was a fishmonger. It is far gone, and truly, in my youth, I suffered much extremity for love. Very near this, I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord? Words, words, words. What is the matter, my lord? Between who? I mean the matter that you read, my lord. Slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, that their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams. All which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honor, but in honesty, to have it thus set down. For you yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if like a crab you could go backward. Though this be madness, yet there is a method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord? Into my grave. Indeed, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are, and happiness and often madness hits on, with reason and sanity could not so preposterously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My leave, my lord, I will take my leave of you. You cannot take from me anything I will more willingly part withal, except my life, except my life, except my life. Fare you well, my lord. These tedious old fools. You go to seek the Lord Hamlet? There he is. God save you, sir, my honored lord, my most good lord. My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both? As the indifferent children of the earth, happy in that we are not over happy on fortune's cup. We are not the very button, nor the very soles of her shoe, neither, my lord. Then you live about her waist in the middle of her favors? Faith, her privates we. In the secret part of fortune? Oh, most true, she is a strumpet. What news? None, my lord, but the world's grown honest. Then is doomsday near, but your news is not true. But in the beaten way of friendship, what makes you at Elsinore? To visit you, my lord, no other occasion. Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it free visitation? Come, come, deal justly with me. Come, come, nay, speak. What should we say, my lord? Anything but to the purpose you were sent for. And there is a kind of confession in your looks, which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you. To what end, my lord? That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear better proposer can charge you withal, but even and direct with me whether you were sent for or no. What say you? Nay then, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off. My lord, we were sent for. I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, foregone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof, fretted with golden fire, why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What piece of work is man? How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, nor woman neither. The way you're smiling, you seem to say so. My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Why do you laugh when I said man delights not me? To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coted them on the way, and whither are they coming to offer you service? He that plays the king shall be welcome, his majesty shall be tribute of me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target, the lover shall not sigh gratis, the humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled of the seer, and the lady shall say her mind freely. or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they? Even those you were wont to take such delight in, the tragedians of the city. How chances it they travel? This residence, both in reputation and profit, was better both ways. I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late innovation. Do they hold this same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed? No, indeed, are they not? It is not very strange for my uncle King of Denmark and those that would make mouths at him while my father lived give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for this picture and a little blood. There is something in this more than natural. If philosophy could find it out. There are the players. Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb. Let me extend to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outwards, which more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome, but my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived. In what, my dear lord? I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. Well be with you, gentlemen. Hark you, Guildenstern, and you two, at each ear a hearer. That great baby that you see is not yet out of his swaddling clouds. Happily, he is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child. I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it, you say right, but a Monday morning 'twas then indeed. My lord, I have news to tell you. My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome, the actors are come hither, my lord. Buzz, buzz, upon mine honor. Then came each actor on his ass. The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, comical, pastoral, scene individual, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautus too light, for the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only men. Oh, Jephthah, Jezebel, what a treasure hadst thou! What a treasure had he, my lord? Why, one fair daughter and no more, the which he loved passing well. Still on my daughter, am I not the right old Jephthah? If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well. Nay, that follows not. What follows then, my lord? Why, as by lot guide Wat, and then you know, it came to pass as most like it was. The first row of the pious Chanson will show you more, for look where the abridgment comes. You are welcome, masters, welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. Oh, good friend, why thy face is valanced since I saw thee last. Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? What, my lady and my mistress, by your lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last, by the altitude of Chopin. Pray God your voice, like a piece of uncurrent gold, be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are welcome. Well e'en to it, like French falconers, fly to anything we see. We'll have a speech straight. Give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech. What speech, my good lord? I heard thee speak me a speech once, but if it was never acted, or if it was never not above once for the play I remember, pleased not the millions. 'Twas caviar to the general, but it was as I received it, and others whose judgment and whose matters cried in the top of mine, an excellent play. Well digested in the scene, set down with as much modesty as cunning. I remember one said there were no salads in the lines to make the martyr savory. There were no salads in the lines to make the matter savory, nor no matter in the phrase that might indict the author of affection, but called it an honest method, as wholesome as sweet, and by very much more handsome than fine. One speech I chiefly loved. 'Twas Enos' tale to Dido, and thereabouts of it, especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin in this line. Let me sing. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast, 'tis not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble, when he lay couched in the ominous horse, hath now by this dread and black complexion, smeared with heraldry more dismal, head to foot, now as the total Giles, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and empasted with the parching streets that lend a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore. With eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam, seeks, so proceed you. For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and good discretion. Anon, he finds him, striking too short at Greeks, his antique sword rebellious to his arm lies where it falls. Repugnant to command, unequal matched Pyrrhus, at Priam delivers, in rage strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of reverend Priam, seemed the air no to stick. So as a painted tyrant Prius stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter did nothing. But as we often see, against some storm a silence in the heavens, and in the rack stand still. The bold wind speechless, and the orb beyond, as hush and death, anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region, so after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor, forged for proof etern. With less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune, all you gods in general synod. Take away her power. Break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven, as low as to the fiends. This is too long. It shall be to the barbers with your beard. Prithee, say on. He's for a jig of bawdry. He sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba. But who, woe, had seen the moblid queen? The moblid queen? That's good. Ran barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bison rune, a clout upon the head, where late the diadem stood, and for a robe about her lank, and all o'er-teemed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen with tongue in venom seeped, 'gainst fortune's stare would treason have pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with her sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal above them not all, would have much milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods. Look where he has turned his color, and his tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more. 'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well stowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death you were better have a bad epitaph than their report while you live. My lord, I will use them according to their desert. God's bodkins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall escape whipping. Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in. Come, sirs. Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago? Aye, my lord. We'll hat tomorrow night. You could for a need study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert it. Could you not? Aye, my lord. Very well, follow that lord, and look you mock him not, my good friends. I'll leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore. Good, my lord. Aye, so God-bye to you, now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and pleasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction and a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage wanned, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to her? That he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears, and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, compound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-mettled rascal, peak like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pated cross, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks off my nose, gives me a lie of the throat, as deep of the lungs? Who does me this? Has wounds? I should take it, for it cannot be but I am a pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppressions bitter, or ere this I should have fatted all the region's kites with this slave's offal, bloody body villain. Remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Why, what an ass am I! This is most brave, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words, and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a stallion, violent, upon my brains. Hum! I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions for murder. Though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tend him to the quick. If it do blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be a devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape, yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. And can you by no drift of confidence, from when him and by he puts his confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy, he does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause I will by no means speak. Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof, when he would bring him on to some confession of his true state. Did he receive you well? Most like a gentleman, but with much forcing of his disposition, negard of question, but of our demands most free of his reply. Did you essay him to any pastime? Madam, it fell so to our certain players we o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem to be a kind of joy to hear of it, and there about the court, and as I think about the already order, there was no play before him. 'Tis most true, and he beseeched to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter. With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose into these delights. We shall, my lord. Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may hear affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he has behaved, if it be the affliction of his love, or no, that thus he suffers for. I shall obey you, and for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted ways again, to both your honors. Madam, I wish it may. Ophelia, walk here, you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book. That show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved that with devotion's visage and pious action we do sugar o'er the devil himself. Oh, 'tis too true. How smart a lash the speech doth give my conscience. This harlot's cheek, beautied with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden! I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord. To be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache, and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy horizons be all my sins remembered. Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day? I humbly thank you well. My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them. No, not I never gave you aught. My honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things much more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord. Are you honest, my lord? Are you fair? What means your lordship? That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty. Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty? Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd, than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once. Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so. You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate so our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not. I was the more deceived. Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest. But yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better that my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my back than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves, all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father? At home, my lord. Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell. Oh, help him, you sweet heavens. If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. If be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly too. Farewell. Heavenly powers restore him. I have heard of your paintings well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig and amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to. I'll no more on't. It hath made me mad. I say we shall have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go. Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I of ladies most dejected and wretched, that sucked the honey of music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of time and harsh, that unmatched form and features of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see. Love, his affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose, which will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England. For the demand of our neglected tribute, haply the seas and countries different, with variable objects, shall expel this something settled matter to his heart, whereupon the brains shall beating puts him thus from fashion to himself. What think you on't? It shall do well. But yet I do believe the origin and commencement of this grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit, after the play, let this queen mother all alone entreat me to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him here, your wisdom best shall think. It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go. Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced, trippingly on the tongue, but if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do we saw the air too much with your hands thus, but use all gently, for in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inescapable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for doing termagant. It out Herod's Herod. Pray you avoid it. I warrant your honor. Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance, that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For nothing so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end both at the first and now was and is to hold and, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her feature, scorn her very own image, and the very age and body of this time his form and pressure. Now this overdone or come tardy off, though it makes the unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of the which one must, in your allowance, overweigh from the whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak of it profanely, that neither having the accent of the Christians, nor the gait of the Christian pagan, nor man, have strutted and bellowed, that I have thought some of nature's journeymen have made man, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably. I hope we have reformed your indifferently with us. Oh, reform it altogether. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them, for there be them for that will themselves laugh. To set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, though in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a most pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go make you ready. How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work? And the queen too, and that presently. Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them? Aye, my lord. What ho, Horatio? Here, sweet lord, at your service. Horatio, thou art e'en just a man, as ere my conversation coped withal. Oh, my dear lord, nay, do not think I flatter, for what advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast by thus good spirit to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No, let the candied tongue lick absurd pomp, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow fawning. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish her election, hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering. All that suffers nothing, a man that fortune's buffets and rewards has ta'en with equal thanks, and blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commeddled, that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stop she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, that I will wear him in my heart's core, aye, in my heart of hearts, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. Prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even when the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle, if this occulted guilt do not thyself enkennel in one speech, it is damned ghost that we have seen, and in my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I am eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming. Well, my lord, if a steal aught, the whilst of this play is playing, the scape detecting, I will play the theft. They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place. How fares our cousin Hamlet? Excellent faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise crammed. You cannot feed capons so. I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine. No, not mine now. My lord, you played once at the university, they say? That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor. What did you enact? I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed at the Capitol. Brutus killed me. It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready? Aye, my lord. They stay upon your patience. Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me. No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive. Oh ho, do you mark that? Lady, shall I lie in your lap? Oh no, my lord. Do you think I meant country matters? I think nothing, my lord. That's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs. What is, my lord, nothing? You are merry, my lord. Who I? I, my lord. Oh God, your only jig-maker, what I should do to be but merry, for look you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours. Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord. So long? Nay, then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens, died 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope. A great man's memory may outlive his life 1/2 a year. But by your lady, I must build churches then, or else shall suffer not thinking on with the hobby horse whose epitaph is, for oh, the hobby horse is forgot. What means this, my lord? Mary, this is milching Malacho. It means mischief. Belike the show imports the arguments of the play. We shall know by this fellow, the players cannot keep counsel. They'll tell all. Will it tell us what this show meant? Aye, or any show that you will show him. Be you not ashamed to show, he'll not shame to tell you what it means. You are not. I'll mark the play. For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently. Is this a prologue or a posy of the ring? 'Tis brief, my lord, as women's love. Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash, and Tellus-orbed ground, and 30 dozen moons, with harrowed sheen, about the world have times 12 30s been. Since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite communal in this our sacred brands. So many journeys may the sun and moon make again our count, or ere love be done. But woe is me, you are sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state that I must distrust you. Yet, though I discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must, for women fear too much, even as thy love, and women's fear and love holds quantity. In neither aught or nor extremity, nor what is love, proof hath made what you know. And as my love is sized, my fear is so. What love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. What little fears great grow great, great love grows there. Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind. Honored, beloved, and happily, as one, as kind. For husband shalt thou, confound the rest. Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first? That's wormwood. The instances that second marriage move are base respect of thrift, but none of love. A second time I killed my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed. I do believe you think what now you speak, but what do we determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, of violent birth. But poor valedry, which now the fruit unripe sticks on the tree, but shall fall unshaken when the mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt, what to ourselves in passion we propose. The passion ending, doth the purpose lose, the violence of either grief or joy their own enactures with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves, or slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should with our fortunes change, for 'tis a question left us yet to prove whether love lead fortune, or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies, the poor advanced, makes friends of enemies, and hitherto doth love on fortunes tend. For who not needs shall never lack a friend, and who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of their own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thou thoughts, when thy first lord is dead. Not earth to me gave food, nor heaven light, sport and repose lock from me day and night. The desperation turned my trust and hope, an anchor's cheer imprisoned by my scope, each opposite the blanks of the face and joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy, both here and hence pursue my lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be a wife. If she should break it now, 'tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave her here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep. Sleep rocks thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain. Madam, how like you this play? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Oh, but she'll keep her word. Have you heard an argument? If there's no offense in it. No, they do but jest. Prison in jest. Poison in jest. No offense in the world. Why do you call the play The Mousetrap? Marry, how? Tropically, this play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, his wife, Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and what we have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince. Our withers are unwrung. 'Tis this one Lucianus, nephew to the king. You are good as a chorus, my lord. I could interpret between you and your love, if I could see the puppets dallying. You are keen, my lord. You are keen. It would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge. Still better and worse. So you must take your husband's. Begin, murderer. Leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come the croaking, raven, doth bellow for revenge. Thoughts black, hands apt. Drugs fit and times agreeing. Confederate seasons, else no creatures seen. Thou mixture rank and of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban, thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life usurps immediately. A poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant, and written in the very choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife. The king rises. How fares my lord? Give o'er the play. Give me some light. Away. Lights, lights, lights. Why, let the stricken deer go weep. The heart ungalled play, for some must watch while some must sleep, that runs the world away. Would not this, sir, and forest of fathers, and the rest of my fortunes, turn Turk with me with provincial roses and raised shoes, get me the fellowship in the cry of players? Half a share, a whole one, aye. For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very Pagic. You might have rhymed. Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst perceive? Very well, my lord. Upon the talk of the poisoning, I did very well note him. Aha! Come some music, come the recorders, for if the king like not the comedy, why then belike he likes it not purty. Come some music. Good my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you. Sir, a whole history. The king, sir, I, sir, what of him, is in his retirement marvellous distempered. With drink, sir, no, my lord, with choler. Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify that this, the doctor, for me, to put him in his purgation would perhaps plunge him into more choler. Good my lord, put your discourse into more frame, and start not so wildly from my fare. I am tame, sir. Pronounce. The queen your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you. You are welcome. Nay, good my lord, the courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business. Sir, I cannot. What, my lord? Make you a wholesome answer? My wit's diseased, but, sir, such answer as I can make you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother, therefore no more, but to the matter. My mother, you say. Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into an amazement and admiration. O wonderful son! that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel to the heels of this mother's admiration? In part, she desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed. We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother, have you any further trade with us? My lord, you once did love me, and do still. These pickers and stealers. My good lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty, if you deny your griefs to your friend. Sir, I lack advancement. How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark? Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Oh, the recorders, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about the recover the wind of me, and if you drive me into a toil? Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly. I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe? My lord, I cannot. I pray you, believe me, I cannot. I do beseech you. I know not of it. I know no touch of it, my lord. It is as easy as lying. Govern these vantages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops. But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill. Why, look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ that cannot make you make it speak. Sblood, do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir. My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently. Do you see yonder cloud that's almost in shape of a camel? By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed. Methinks it is like a weasel. It is backed like a weasel, or like a whale, very like a whale. Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me at the top of my bent. I will come by and by. I will say so. By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night. When churchyards yawn, the hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter the foreign bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites, how in my words some ever she be shent, to give them seals never my soul's consent. I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall, along with you, the terms of our estate, may not endure hazard so near as doth hourly grow out his brows. We will ourselves provide most holy and religious fear. It is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty. The single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, and much more the spirit upon whose weal depends and rests the lives of many. The cess of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it, or it is messy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are mortised and adjoined, which when it falls, each small annexment, petty consequence attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan. Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put about this fear, which now goes too free-footed. We will haste us. My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home, and as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech. Advantage, fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know. Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offence is rank, it smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder, pray, can I not? Though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business, bound I stand in pause. Where I shall first begin in both neglect? What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold farce, this force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoning being down, then I'll look up. My fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my term? Forgive me for my foul murder, that cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense. In the corrupted currents of the world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling where the action lies in its true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead to our faults, to give an evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed soul, that struggling to be free art more engaged. Help, angels! Make us say, bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well. Now might I do it pat. Now I is a praying, and now I'll do it.